Russell Westbrook has signed with the Sacramento Kings, according to ESPN Shams Charania. I think people forget how crazy it is that Russell Westbrook still, age 36, about to turn 37. The dude played for the Sonics. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's an amazing. We see this with Steph. We see it with LeBron. We see it with Al Horford. But Russell Westbrook and how athletic he's been his entire career, it is a testament to his readiness, professionalism, that still at this age he is able to bring it in a way where you'd expect him to have like a really great 3-point shot to keep his longevity in the league. But man, teams love to have Russell Westbrook on their squad, as evidenced by the fact that Sacramento Kings had just signed him. And I've got lots of questions here, but happy for Russ.
Yeah, it felt weird to imagine him not being on a roster for the first time in like 19 years, right? Like that's the idea of starting a season with him not playing was like it felt kind of wild. It also, though, feels kind of weird that he's on this Kings team. So we'll get to that in a second. All right. First off, just top line numbers. Russ last season, 13.3 points, 6.1 assists, 4.9 rebounds, and 1.4 steals in just under 28 minutes a game for the Nuggets. So like Russ can still produce given the opportunity to play significant minutes. He came off the bench for about half of those games, or a little more than half of those games. Got 4 third place votes for sixth man of the year, which I'm not sure that the like plus minus advanced numbers necessarily bore that out. And a lot of the bonus, we've talked about this before, it's the halo effect of playing with Nikola Jokic. But either way, Russ produced, and he had moments. He was really good in that first round series against the Clippers when they eliminated his former team, the Clippers. Less so in the second round against the Thunder, when Russ shot 34.8% from the field, 21.9% from 3-point range, and had more turnovers than assists. He played 160 minutes against Oklahoma City in the second round, and the Nuggets got outscored by 92 points in those minutes, which is pretty tough.
Do we worry about that with the Kings, that his postseason performance is going to be lacking?
I don't know if that's like the silver lining around the gray cloud, or if that's the gray cloud within the silver lining. But like, yeah, we might not have to worry too much about the beam breaking through the gray cloud into the postseason this year. For what it's worth, he had hand surgery. He had 2 broken bones in his shooting hand after the season. He had that, repaired it, and now apparently, good to go. He's according to Shams, expected to officially join the team later this week. When he gets there, he will join a backcourt that already features Dennis Schroder, Zach LaVine, Malik Monk, Keon Ellis, Devin Carter, who was a first-round pick a couple years ago. It's pretty.
And who leads the team in assists?
Domantas Sabonis, right? I'm gonna guess the center.
So where is who of all the teams in the NBA that we do this thing of like there's only one ball? Yeah. I feel like the loudest team that has to answer that question of like, there's so many mouths to feed. There's one basketball, and you're adding Russell Westbrook to this equation here. Like, there's so many ball dominant guys on this team that I'm just like, wait a minute. Of all the teams, I just don't see how he's going to get enough oxygen to be able to thrive here.
Especially, if you are looking to maximize the investments you've made over, in Dennis Schroder in free agency, Zach LaVine in trade a couple years ago, Devin Carter with the first round pick, what you've put into the roster so far, it does feel like this would be kind of like robbing Peter to pay Paul. And it also feels like it doesn't address what feels like the biggest problem on the Kings roster right now, which is the Kings really had one legit like perimeter defender, big wing kind of guy, Keegan Murray, and he's hurt. He tore the ulnar collateral ligament in his left thumb during a loss to the Portland Trailblazers, and is going to be reevaluated 4 to 6 weeks, probably going to miss the first 10 plus games of the regular season, if not longer. And so now you're like, are we starting a 3-guard lineup with Zach LaVine as like your nominal small forward? And who's guarding 4s? Is DeMar DeRozan guarding your best perimeter guy?
Like you talked about backcourt And that doesn't include DeMar DeRozan and Domantas Sabonis, who like these guys need the ball in their hands to operate. Yeah, Sabonis can do some off-ball stuff, offensive rebounding, and DeMar can make some cuts. But like, where's Russell Westbrook going to touch the ball in this situation? And if you were thinking Russell Westbrook was a good addition, why wait 2 days before the season starts with no training camp to integrate him into the roster? And the timing with Keegan Murray, can you name another player who is more dissimilar to Keegan Murray than Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And I mean, it feels like, your concerns about the offense are well-founded and I think legitimate. I think the bigger problem is I don't know how this team defends anybody with, if you're going to have Sabonis on the court a ton, and Sabonis obviously plays a ton. He's barely misses time, plays through like torn stuff in his thumb and injuries and all, and he's great, but he's not a rim protector. They've not been a great defensive team with him at the back line. You are playing probably DeMar and LaVine at the 3-4 spots. Schroder can be a real pest at the point of attack. Keon Ellis is a fantastic defender, has, had his moments where he ran afoul of Mike Brown and was in and out of the lineup. And maybe it's just like Keon Ellis go guard everybody. But bigger guys, I don't know how exactly that's going to work out. And then the second line, the reserve courts, is Doug McDermott and Drew Eubanks and Dario Saric going to be kind of it feels like there's a lot of guys. I don't know that there's a cohesive thought process here in terms of how it all fits together to get stops against NBA offenses, or to, as you mentioned, space the floor properly and generate good looks against NBA defenses. It just feels a little bit more like somebody building a fantasy basketball roster, or I know that guy's good, so let's get him in here. But does it make sense in the context of what you already have? I have a lot of questions about that. And maybe I'm being overly pessimistic, and Doug Christie's got a great sense of how he's going to make this all work. It feels like kind of a lot of mismatched ingredients, and I'm not sure that the resultant meal is going to be all that tasty.
I want Devin Carter and Keon Ellis to have the bulk of those minutes in the backcourt this season. I want to see what Devin Carter can do. I love
from
Keon
a developmental
Ellis. We
perspective.
talked about Keon on this show. Just I love what this dude brings to the table, especially with the complementary role that he provides with the rest of the guys who need the ball in their hands to thrive. You need more Keon Ellis's, and I just worry that this is not a good fit for Russ. I worry about that with this acquisition. I'm happy for Russell Westbrook that he gets this deal, but I just don't know where he fits in with this roster. That is just, I don't understand it. But hey, the Kings will king. That's how they do. Dan, I feel like we've got a pretty good season preview, big number episode here, because we went all over the place here with this one in about an hour. So, I should say this. He didn't play for the Sonics. He just was drafted by the Sonics, wore the green and yellow Seattle hat with David Stern. But it always throws me off that he didn't actually play for the Sonics, because they had already moved to OKC by then, who also drafted Domantas Sabonis, by the way, his new teammate. And also Dennis Schroder and Russell Westbrook played together with the Lakers, where Russ was backing up Dennis Schroder on that ill-fated season. So hopefully it turns out better for Russ and the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah. The Kings, just to put a button on them, they're over under at BetMGM's 35.5. And I don't imagine that this is going to move that needle significantly forward. It feels like a team that is, in the best case scenario, fighting for the 10 spot out west. And, Russ has been in situations where his the ability to play, to get downhill, to get you in transition, to speed things up, there's value in that. And, plenty of big game experience, the tenacity, the attitude. There's things to love about him as a competitor, even at this point. He played off Jokic. Maybe that helps him play off a similarly styled hub player in Sabonis, and, made some more corner threes, was more weaponized as a cutter, did some of those things that you would need him to do to not be ball dominant. It's just a question of how additive all that is at this stage, and how additive it is for a Kings team that I think is more likely to be kind of scuffling around that bottom of the play-in mix. But yeah, it'll be weird to see him in a new uniform, but maybe less weird than not seeing him at all. So that there's something to be said for that.
I think he's trying to play for every team in the Western Conference. OKC.
He's not leaving the West. He wants to stay. Those flights need to be short.
OKC, Houston, Lakers, Denver. Next
Clippers.
on the list.
Clippers he was at.
Yep. Clippers. I mean, yeah. Collect the whole set. Might as well. Why not?
Why not?